What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazik, aka Unique Mazik, and I'm here with my man Nazar. Yes, we are in the building. We in two different buildings because it's just how that goes. But anyway, we're gonna talk about UFC Fight Night 125 from Belém, Brazil. Or did I say it right? Because I've been saying it wrong all week, and
You
then I
can't
heard
count
some.
on me to correct you on that one. I
Okay,
think it's
because
better.
I've been saying it wrong, and somebody pronounced it during the event, and I said, "Oh." See, sometimes I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna tell you right now, every writer will tell you this. Sometimes you happy that you write and don't have to necessarily pronounce some of the stuff that you write because you just spell it according to however you saw it. Shoot, copy and paste, baby, and it's great. You don't have to have this expert pronunciation. So it was in Brazil, I can tell you that. All right. So, and honestly, man, the card was really, I thought it was pretty good. Sorry. I thought it was, I mean, because if you look at this on paper, this might, if you going to skip one, if you look at this on paper, this might have been the one you said you was going to skip. But if you did make that decision, you missed some pretty good fights, don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I myself, I was giving this card the side eye.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, B.
Yeah. 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 But you know what? It always seems to work like that, though.
Mm,
I'm telling you, in all my years of watching UFC, especially when since they've gone to these little, really long cards, like they are in, this particular stage now. Some of the cards that you look at on paper and you like, this look like some trash. Those are some of the ones that you like fight after fight. You like, man, they scrapping.
mhm.
Man, they scrapping. It almost always seems to work that way. And then
Okay.
sometimes you get a card and you be like, top to bottom, this just look like a bunch of beasts. This gonna be crazy. And it's the most boring thing you ever seen in your life. You know, I don't know why it seems to work that way, but it often does.
Okay.
So I guess because I knew that I wasn't as down on the card as I might have been otherwise. So but yeah, it turned out pretty good. So it's a couple of things that I want to kind of go over with these recaps, like kind of like moving forward, just to add some distinction to the whole thing, right? So we're gonna go through the recaps or whatever like we normally do, and I'm gonna talk about the fight score for each fight. We're gonna also I'm kind of we're gonna go over like the official bonuses once those are available. I believe they may be out there now.
Okay.
I also want to talk about like who I think had the biggest win of the night. Like who's win? Every it was 11 fights. We had 11 winners, but some wins mean a little bit more than others.
Mm,
So and then there was 11 losers tonight. Which loss was the biggest loss to you? And you know what? I'm gonna tell you, Francis Ngannou inspired this next thing that I came up with, which I want to pick out who I think was the least prepared fighter.
wow.
Okay,
That's total
so
franchise.
hey man, he and really him and Volkan Oezdemir, both of them. I mean, at UFC 220 looked so absolutely unprepared. I just had to say, okay, from moving forward, I'm gonna have to figure out who else came out here in the octagon looking that unprepared. Also, I want to talk about like the most interesting statistic of the night. Another one was the best commentator call. Uh, a lot of times Joe Rogan and soon Jimmy Smith, some of the other guys, Paul Felder and them, those guys have some really interesting calls or some funny calls or something entertaining. So I kind of wanted to kind of shine a light on that as well. So let's start off just kind of going through the fights. We do have the awards; they just came through, so that's cool. That was right on time. Wow, I'm actually a little bit surprised at one of these. Wow. Okay, so yeah, I can't wait to talk about that because that's a little weird. But yes, the first fight of the night was Davison Figueiredo taking on Joseph Morales. And the fight, I'll just start it off. I'll give the fight score from the beginning. The fight score was 31.94. It scored fairly high in the whole activity competitiveness category.
Okay.
Um, did you enjoy that fight, Zar?
Yeah, that was a good fight. It was a good fight to start off with.
Yeah. That definitely was. Figueiredo is now 14-0 in his career, and if you take a look at or you pay attention to the UFC's men's flyweight division, you know Mighty Mouse has pretty much cleaned the whole division out. He's fought everybody and beat all of them. Probably at least he's beat all of them at least once, and many of them he's beaten twice. And most of them haven't even been competitive when he's beat them, right? So every time anybody comes to the flyweight division and looks halfway decent, like, oh, you next? You go get that work next, or what? Can you do something? But Figueredo is interesting because he's pretty athletic. He's definitely ferocious. But we've seen and thought that type of thing before Mighty Mouse fights them, and he has a way of just totally neutralizing guys. And
Franchise, let me ask you this: if you were controlling Figueroa, what do you do to get him ready or get him on that track to go after Mighty Mouse? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the series of moves he needs to make to be like, yo, he might be ready?
You know, honestly, okay, if you think back at the people who Mighty Mouse has fought, who have been the more difficult fights for him, right? It's John Dodson and Tim Elliott are the two that pop into my head, right? Now, he beat Dodson twice. And Tim Elliott he beat once. But Tim Elliott had him in a couple precarious situations, right? And Tim Elliott had that because Tim Elliott is physically strong. He's a little wild on the feet, but he did his work on the ground. He grappling with Demetrius, he did a good job. He couldn't beat him, but he did do a good job. John Dodson was able to give the Mighty Mouse a little bit of issues because he's one of the few guys who can come close, if not match or exceed Mighty Mouse's speed. So that was a thing on the feet. And then John Dodson has big power. He hurt Mighty Mouse. One of the only dudes you ever going to see. He lit Mighty Mouse up and hurt him. And Demetrius was stunned for maybe about 10 seconds, got himself back together.
Okay.
Figueiredo is a decent grappler, but he's not on par with Elliott, in my opinion. And so therefore definitely not on par with Mighty Mouse. So I don't know about that. I think his best chance is probably to keep the fight standing. He can be a little wild and unpredictable, which could help him. But honestly, man, Demetrius Johnson is just wow. He's just like wow, man. I'm telling you, the guy. I have no idea. It's funny because like with Conor, there's a specific style that I can say that style fighter is going to give Conor a problem.
Right.
There is no style that I can say definitely gives Demetrius Johnson a problem because he can do everything.
So are we just hoping he gets bored? Like Rocky, he just wins so much.
I'm personally not hoping he gets bored. I hope he just wins until he don't feel like winning no more. That's what I hope. I mean, because I think he's great for the sport. I think he is he is awesome.
He's fantastic in those commercials. Oh man, I love him in those.
Yeah, man. I mean, the dude is, and then UFC and that particular company is going to make sure you see that commercial 30 million times every event. So if you don't love it, you're going to love it by the time they get done. But I mean, the dude is phenomenal, man. So I don't know what Figueiredo does with him. Maybe he just need to hold out and wait for him to say he done. Which I really don't think Mighty Mouse fights more than like 3 more times.
Really?
I don't think so. He has nothing else left to prove. I could see him wanting to get maybe 2 or 3 big paydays because he's never really been paid according to his level of what he really. I mean, he is the best fighter in the world right now. I mean, you can make the argument that it's John Jones, but we know there's things attached to that. There is nothing attached to Demetrius Johnson's greatness. What greatness? That's it, So, yeah, but Figueiredo had a good fight, well, I'll give him that. All right, so the next fight was Yuri Alcantara against Joe Soto. Now I thought this was a pretty exciting fight for the minute that it lasted, which got it a fight score of a 35. And the reason why that fight score is so high is because in that minute they landed 18 significant strikes, which is a lot for a minute. They're
Right.
flinging it, and they were both throwing hands from the beginning. We saw a knockdown, we saw a finish. So I mean, they packed a bunch of action into that little bitty amount of time. But Alcantara's 38 years old. He don't look 38 years old, but he's
Not
38.
at all.
Yeah, he's 38, and he landed a really hard body shot to Soto. Man, I feel sorry for Joe Soto. I really do. Joe Soto is like one of the most high profile losers you ever want to see. I mean, it's like crazy. Like he took the TJ Dillashaw fight on 1 day's notice after the championship fight. He got a title fight on 1 day's notice
Wow.
after Renan Barao got sick during the weigh-ins and couldn't fight. He lost that fight, even though he did go 5 rounds. Then he comes back in his last fight before this, and he gets beat with a WWE submission move. Like the dude got beat with a calf slicer. Like,
Are you serious?
that's like Daniel Bryan's move in WWE. It was like, wow. So then now he comes out here and loses in a minute to Yuri Alcantara. I don't know what to say. It's you know the Usher song, "Ain't nothing good, it's all bad," because that's what's happening with Joe right now.
Do you
That's
think
it.
with Yuri's age, because he looked sharp, granted it was only a minute, does he have any championship aspirations left, or is he one of your hold the spot
I
dudes?
think he probably has some aspirations. Does he have a realistic possibility? No.
Nah.
I mean, he's in the bantamweight division, man. There's no way in the world I can picture Yuri Alcantara beating T.J. Dillashaw. There's no way in the world I can imagine Yuri Alcantara beating Cody Garbrandt. You know,
Mm-mm.
nah. I mean, I can't even imagine Yuri Alcantara beating Rafael Sunsao. You
Damn.
know, and I'm not saying that like a Sunsal's not a good fighter. Sunsal's a great fighter, very good fighter, but he's not a champion.
Okay.
So nah. All right. So next fight was Maya Stevenson against Polyana Viana, and I gave it a 32.5. This one had a lot of action, but it was not all that competitive because Polyana Viana was clearly so far ahead of Maya Stevenson on the grappling side from the very beginning that this one just, yeah, we knew this was only a matter of time. And Dana White seems to really like Polyana Viana quite a bit. Um, After her win, he tweets out, "Impressive." Like, you didn't do that for nobody else on the card, damn. Like, what's good with that? Like, it was very strange. If you follow the UF, like every once in a while he'll do that, but
Right.
that finish didn't seem to warrant that to me. Like
Hmm.
that level of spot. So I'm looking at it like, okay, he's looking at Polyana Viana. She got she got a nice finish victory. But I'm also thinking he's looking at her like, you're cute and you're winning, which means you're a draw. So I'm about to make sure we put you on Front Street all the time because you could easily become something significant. So, I don't know. That sort of was odd to me.
I saw that tweet. That seemed a little odd to me, also, especially being that I don't know. She didn't look all that special. She looked special on the ground, right?
Yeah,
But I was like, when when the fight started and I saw her jab attempts, man, I was just like, ugh, you
yeah.
know what I mean? I was like,
They look
your
real.
hands is not what we here to see
Yeah,
tonight.
I mean, because I had actually listened to a podcast from God, I can't remember the guys' names that I watched. And they were breaking down what they thought their DraftKings thing or whatever. And the guy was saying that he didn't think that Polyana Viana was even going to win, thought Maya Stevenson was going to win. And he honed in on what he called quote unquote remedial striking
Oh,
from Viana. And I would agree from what I saw, but I think that her grappling game is very tight.
Hmm.
She may never be a great striker, but in her division, with a grappling game that tight, she could still be she could still be formidable. Uh,
Okay.
Her striking so bad, I don't think it'll ever be good.
Damn.
Because there's some room for like it's so clumsy that I don't think she has the rhythm, the athleticism, the coordination. Because it takes coordination, especially if you're
Right.
not a big puncher. If you don't
Right.
have that natural power or heavy hands, then it takes coordination to become a striker that can snap shots. Stop, stop.
Right.
But she's like,
Look, Mizzy, when I saw the way she shifted her hips on that jab,
yeah,
if I'm seeing your fundamentals is off, you really ain't got
right.
it.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
So I
So
think eventually, for me, until I see her fight somewhere, I think she'll fall into that one-dimensional group. You know what I mean? Where
right,
when she runs up against a complete fighter, it's just going to be a
yeah.
long night for her.
But that's the thing. She has to run into somebody in her weight class who is complete. And
Okay.
there definitely are some people there, obviously. I mean, you got Joanna Jacek. See, taking down Joanna is easy, much easier said than done. You're not just gonna walk up on Joanna and take her down. You know what I mean? And you're not just gonna pull guard and take her down. Just like
Right.
because in some of her other fights, if you watch like before the UFC, that was something that she was kind of doing, just pulling guard. Just as
Mm-hmm.
soon as you get close to somebody, just straddle them and pull guard. But against the higher level fighters, you're not going to be able to do that. So, I mean, she's still very young though. So that's the one thing. So she has quite a bit of growing left to do. I'm not even sure how old she is. Polyana Viana is, yeah, she's 26. So yeah, eh,
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't, like you said, she's too bad to get too much better
in
with the hand.
striking,
Yeah,
definitely,
it's striking. It's striking. Like you
definitely,
said, I don't want to take too much. Her ground game was complete. It looked nasty down there. It looked like someplace you didn't want to be. But I was
right.
like, if you avoid that, I
Yeah,
like your chances.
I like the chances. Yeah. And if you can strike at all, then you probably have the advantage against her on the feet. And then what
Yes.
I would like to see is if she's facing someone who is able to stuff the takedowns, then what does she do?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You know,
So I'm
because
definitely looking to see have those questions answered as
yeah,
I watch her in the future.
well, I think Dana definitely gonna make sure you get a chance to see her soon. So you can bet that, you know. So yeah, so the next fight on the card was Alan Patrick against Demir Hadzovic. And we're gonna talk about the post fight interview on that one. We're gonna talk about that. We gotta talk about that. But Alan Patrick is a very good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist, practitioner, very good. He actually excels at something that many of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners don't excel at, which is getting takedowns.
Mm,
Generally, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy or girl is great once the fight gets to the ground, but sometimes they struggle in closing the distance and getting it to the ground. He doesn't really struggle with that because he's a pretty good athlete on top of being a great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. His takedowns are not textbook by any stretch. They look a
right.
little kind of crazy and sloppy, but he gets it where he's trying to get it. So it is what it is. Hadzovic was just not, yeah, he wasn't ready for the takedown game at all. At all. I mean, he did throw up one choke attempt that didn't work out. And they were commenting tonight about how slippery everybody was.
Yes.
It was very difficult to get it was I'm hotter than a match head in there, it seemed like. And they had a really difficult time getting a good grip on anybody. So, especially after the first round. So, yeah, I mean, the fight, what did I score that one? The fight score for that one was 25.2. And really, honestly, the majority of those points came from the takedowns
Okay.
because he got, I believe, what did he get? Nine? He had
He got
nine
a lot.
takedowns. He had nine takedowns. So that was a lot. So, but wasn't a great fight. The next fight was Sergio Moraes against Tim Means. And fight score was 32.9 for that one. So it's a good fight. I really felt Tim Means got robbed.
Mm.
I felt he got robbed. I thought he won the fight 2 rounds to 1. Um, this is when the judges scored this fight. I said, okay, ain't nobody that's not Brazilian winning the decision tonight. We already know that, and that didn't turn out to be the case. But yeah, man, I thought he controlled the fight with his jab. Started countering really well. I thought he won the second and the third rounds. Basically, I
Okay.
thought he lost the first. I thought he won the second and the third.
I thought it was definitely close. I like the Dirty Bird. I thought he should have used his elbows more, like he normally does. That's what I
Yeah,
was looking for.
yeah.
Sergio's a good fighter, man. Is he normally a ground guy? Because he seemed really confident with his hands, and I wondered why he didn't fight more to get Bird on the ground.
Well, he is and he has like he's a an instructor at a Brazilian jiu-jitsu
Oh,
gym. Like he's a renowned instructor in Brazil for jiu-jitsu. That is his specialty. But he does have good hands. And he's also got a fighter's mentality. So
okay,
some part of him seems to want to trade at certain times. Um, and I thought he had some success with it in the first round with some of the wild overhand shots. But and Tim Means is a very difficult guy to take down. If you watch Tim Means fight, you'll see that because he has a really strong base, he has long arms. He's difficult to take down. So yeah, because his takedown defense is 63% for his career, which is pretty decent, you know. And if you look back, now he did get taken down a lot by Alex Oliveira back in March of last year,
okay.
and I think that fight itself drastically hurt his takedown percentage. But if you look at like his last like 5 to 7 fights, he doesn't get taken down. He doesn't get taken down a lot. So he's pretty difficult to take down. So I think that was one of the things as well.
Okay.
Yes. So, but yeah, I thought, actually, up to a point, I thought it was going to potentially be the fight of the night, but that changed when we had the next fight, which was Thiago Santos against Anthony Smith. It got a fight score of a 39.3 for me, which
That's
is,
our highest score since you made that up, ain't it?
no, the highest score since I made it up actually was the first fight of the year. Matt Fravola against Marco Polo Reyes. That one got a 26 and a half. I mean, 46 and a half.
Oh wow. Okay,
But
I
see,
don't
here's
remember
the thing.
that.
Who in the world cares about Matt Fravola and Marco Polo Reyes?
Steamroller.
Which, right. Which the tripped out thing of it is, because that fight lasted like a minute or something like that. Like,
Right.
but it was jam packed with shots from the beginning. And then it also, they were just standing toe to toe, just banging, you know.
Right.
But the
Right.
thing of it was the whole point of the fight score is to say to judge the fight regardless of who's fighting. So we won't remember those two guys, and yeah, obviously Thiago Santos and Anthony Smith are bigger names than Matt Fravola and Marco Polo Reyes. So that's why I think sometimes the fights come off a little bit better. This one was good. It was good. I gave it a perfect 10 in competitiveness straight across.
Nice.
Um, they landed 11.3 strikes per minute collectively. It was 2 knockdowns. There was a finish. There was a stun recovery. There were a couple wild scrambles. There was a momentum shift because he opened up the huge cut on Thiago Santos's
Yeah.
eyebrow, but the body kick. No, you know what? Forget. Let's not even talk about the fight that the strike that ended the fight. The spinning kick that the roundhouse. It was it a round? No, it was a spinning kick. It was a wheel kick that landed on Anthony Smith's jaw, and it sounded like somebody had smacked a piece of leather with a bat, and the dude took it. And dude, Anthony Smith is ridiculously tough.
Lionheart.
Man, that dude is tough. I'm telling you, but it's so funny, right? So he takes that shot, but in the next round, he gets kicked right in the midsection in the liver and shut down.
They say them liver shots is no bueno. They say that's it. It's
Man,
tap out.
I've seen it happen in so many different sports, like in both combat sports. You see, Golovkin knocked out Matthew Macklin with a liver shot, and I mean, dude, and it's always a slightly delayed reaction. Every single time you see it, they get hit, give them about a second and a half to 2 seconds later, then it's just like the same grimace comes over their face, like,
Mm.
oh my God, no. And then it's just, it's through. It's through. It's every single time. So it was a great fight. I mean, Tiago might be like from a highlight reel standpoint, he might be like the premier knockout guy in the UFC, just from a pure highlight level
Mm.
standpoint. I mean, he's got so many memorable knockouts. It's just like this dude just his quick twitch athleticism is truly scary. You know, I mean, like, and the dude he has four wins in a row, all four by knockout. I mean, as a matter of fact, he hasn't had a fight go to distance since 2015 because the two fights he lost, he got stopped. So somebody's getting stopped when Thiago Santos fights.
Who would you like to see him fight next?
I really think that he deserves a top five opponent or somebody ranked significantly. I think he need to because I think that the guy is really, man, from a talent level standpoint, I'm convinced that he is an elite fighter. You know, he's one of the elite guys from a talent level standpoint. So he came into this fight ranked number 15 overall. Now he had already now I don't even know how healthy this guy is moving forward, because he just had a really tough weight cut and everything. Uriah Hall. Now he fought Uriah Hall before, and the fight ended in a unanimous decision loss for Santos. But both of those guys are, oh my God, strikers.
Right.
And so that would be an interesting fight. Christoph Jotko would be an interesting fight. Maybe you put him in there with Kelvin Gastelum. I don't know. That would be some. Oh, you know what we? Oh no, I know. This fight would be amazing. Two Brazilians, Paulo Costa and Santos. Paulo Costa's ranked number 14 right now. Santos is ranked 15. Somebody's getting knocked out, and it's going to be ugly.
You know what? If I was either one of them, I wouldn't take that because it's too dangerous and the reward is not enough. We just moving up a spot or back a spot.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd wait till we both 4-5. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, yeah.
that's
I
gonna be
totally
serious.
understand. I totally understand. But here's the thing. But Santos is 34. You know, and so he needs to get it cracking. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. These
yeah,
guys be looking
Costa's
good,
only
man, for
26.
their ages.
Yeah, man, Costa's only 26. So I don't know. I don't know what happens. I mean, now if I'm Santos, I don't want to fight a guy like David Branch because David Branch is going to take me down, and I don't
Right.
get a chance to to do what I want to do. So I don't know. Maybe Derek Brunson. He just got knocked out by Jacare Souza. I mean, honestly, I think Thiago Santos probably knocks Derek Brunson out. You know, I mean, I don't know. Brunson can strike, but yeah, Santos is a different guy. Santos is he's like a big Edson Barbosa.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, he's like a middleweight Edson Barbosa. Like, I mean, his striking is so explosive, dude. It's something to behold, really. I definitely enjoy watching him fight. Always have ever since the first time I saw him in the UFC. I was like, this dude he's dangerous.
Mm.
So we'll see what happens now. The next fight that we had was Douglas Silva de Andrade against Marlon Vera. You want to talk about reminding me of somebody? De Andrade reminds me of a more athletic version of John Lineker. They made that same comparison within the first round, and you can clearly see it. Their stances are similar. They're both Brazilian, and the whole way that their game is set up is similar. Even though I think Andrade has more layers to his game.
Mm.
So yeah, that the fight with Vera was pretty interesting. I thought Marlon Vera looked a lot like Freddie Mercury. Did you see that? I mean, he looks like Freddie Mercury a little bit to me. I like just look at his face. He looked a lot like Freddie Mercury. But he didn't win. He didn't win
No.
tonight. Andrade put pressure on him in every way, shape, or form. This fight didn't score very well on the fight score for me. 14 and a half is all it got. Because they were swinging a lot. But if you looked at it, neither guy was landing a lot.
Mm.
But when Andrade did land, he did damage, therefore the blood on Vera's face. But there were a lot of less than clean strikes.
I give you that. I give you that. Although this fight kept me into the card. You know, I mean, the card was going moving along very well, but there's something about the way Andrade fights
Yes.
that's very exciting to me. You know what I mean? He was one of those fighters where I was watching him almost exclusively during their fight. You know, watching his fakes and stuff. You know, it was an interesting fight. I look forward to watching him again.
He's an athlete. He's an athlete, and you can see it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You can see it. You know, you can see the that
Yeah.
quick switch to him. You know, and it's everything's explosive. Everything looks like it's got a body on the end of it. You know what I mean?
I like
Boom.
that.
You know, and that is, you know, a guy like that is he leaves an impression on you when you watch him fight. They just didn't land very much. That was the only thing, you know, like collectively. So that fight went the distance, right? And they landed a lot of strikes, but not what you would not generally what you would look at as significant strikes. So yeah, it wasn't a horrible fight. You know, it just wasn't packed with a lot of action.
All right.
Yeah. Now the next fight was Tim Johnson versus Marcelo Gome. Marcelo Gome came into this fight really, really like, you know, hyped up, like he was going to be the guy. And he actually was the first Brazilian to lose on the entire card.
Yes.
The fight score only got a 14. Tim Johnson fought the right kind of fight, but I'm trying to tell you, man, Tim Johnson looked like he was in his first trimester. And I don't. Man, I don't recall seeing that much belly in a UFC fight. Like in some of the smaller promotions, but in the UFC, this is like the sixth time I've seen Tim Johnson fight.
What about who was that? Roy Nelson got some belly, ain't they?
Man, I'm not dipping and flipping like that, man. I'm talking about like it's like his belly had like an indentation in it. And it was,
come on, Mazik.
I'm like, and I, you know how you were watching on Andrade? I found myself watching his belly, like I was hypnotized by his belly.
Man.
I'm like,
leave this brother alone. He won the fight. I told Big Mama he looked like they couldn't find nobody to fight, and they said, "You, sir, with the beard."
You know, the guy, and here's the thing: Tim Johnson is a skilled wrestler. Okay. He is. It's like the sixth time I've seen him fight, and that's why his shape really kind of caught me out of. Oh, I'm like, whoa, Tim, you let yourself go in this one, didn't you? Like I'm telling you, look at Fight Pass and look up Tim Johnson's fights.
Okay.
You do not see that much midsection movement in the other one.
Midsection movement.
I'm just.
All right, I'm gonna add that to my scout list.
I'm just saying. It was a lot. There was a lot of gyration there in the
But
belt.
I was left with the question of why were they pumping Gomes so much? You know what I mean? Because I was like, well, I just didn't see nothing nowhere. You
I,
know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean, the guy is athletic for a heavyweight, but he looked gun shy.
mm,
Like he looked, and also I think Tim Johnson's a heavy, strong guy.
right,
So when he would close distance and he would lean on him, it was something very subtle though that Tim Johnson was doing during the striking exchanges that I didn't even hear the commentators mention, and I could tell this was based off something he'd seen in
mm,
scouting gone. Every time when they would get in striking distance, he would dip his head, turn his back out, like turn his butt almost sideways as he closed the distance.
right,
And I think that was because he saw the right kick was something that Gome liked to throw most when his opponent was closing the distance. So turning in that direction, he was turning into Gome's left hand, which was not the power hand. He's
right,
also turning away from the power kick. And he kept
mm,
doing that every time to close the distance. And it would allow him to get into grasp into clinch distance, into clinch in the range to clinch without being in danger of taking a shot. And it was
nice.
really small, really subtle. Uh, but I thought that was a key aspect of the way he was able to close distance.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice breakdown, Mizzou. And then
Yeah.
he was able to use his dirty boxing, which everybody said he had to use that to win. And
Yes.
he said coming in, I have to make this ugly.
He had to make it ugly. And that's exactly what he did. He fought the perfect fight for
Yes,
him against the guy he was fighting.
yes,
So
yes.
it
Agreed.
wasn't by any means a fight you say, hey, you gotta watch this one. No, no. But it was, he got it done. He got it done. He got he got it done. You know, I'm just saying there was a lot of movement around the belts. So it is what it is. All right. So the next fight was Michelle Prazeres against Desmond Green. I had a problem with this fight, just period.
What did you have? Because let me tell before you get started. Usually, every card I pick one brother that I'm rooting for, right? So as I was scouting brother Desmond Green's fight, I was like, "This is my guy. I'm cheering for you, Desmond." Then I found out who he was fighting, and I was like, "Oh Lord, this." I didn't think it was gonna go well for him, but I said if he can keep this thing on the feet and be aggressive. In his other fights, it was like he would do just enough to barely win the fight. I was like, let your hands go. You know what I'm saying? Like you out there to fight, fight.
Yeah.
And then he went out here, man, and just shit the bed. So I'm interested to hear what disappointed you about this fight.
Well, first and foremost, my disappointment started before the fight even began. Michelle Prazeres was you missed weight by 5 pounds, bro. By
Yeah,
5 pounds.
he just gave up at some point. 5 pounds.
And so they took 40% of his purse.
Oh, isn't
Usually
it usually 20?
usually 20. But because he was so grossly overweight and they didn't want to lose another fight, because they already lost one fight, because Pedro Munoz was supposed to fight John Dodson on this card.
Yeah, yeah.
So they already lost one. They didn't want to lose another one. So they worked out something with Desmond Green, and he was like, okay, so now Desmond Green gets his purse and 40% of Michelle Prazeres' purse.
Mm,
So that's good. But I didn't that I didn't dig.
okay.
So to me, you're fighting at a major advantage. I mean, because you looked at their bodies, man, they look like they were in two different weight classes.
They did.
They're like in two different weight classes. I mean, you know, it just looked like, hey, we ain't got nobody in your weight class to spar in the gym. Let's go get it on. That's what it looked like. And so yeah, that ain't gonna work out. But I agree with what you're saying about Desmond Green. He didn't. I felt like I tweeted during that fight or right after that fight. I don't think he fought to win. It felt like he fought to survive.
Mm,
Um, he did not. The head kick was there. He didn't throw one of them. The head kick was there the whole fight. It's a shorter man. Shorter man is trying to close distance, and the shorter man is closing distance throwing wild shots because he was getting frustrated because first of all he couldn't secure the takedown because Desmond
right.
Green takedown defense was excellent.
Yes, it was.
His ability to get out of, I mean, Prazeres has one of the meanest chokes you're gonna find. I mean, the dude has a filthy grip, right?
Yes.
but Desmond Green escaped each attempt and was able to do his thing doing both. But I just felt like, well, honestly, Desmond Green striking is not that much better than Polyana Viana's.
Come on now. Come on
It
now.
was bad, man. Bad. Like,
He's not fantastic, but come on now.
it was bad.
I'm not gonna let you slander the brother on this show right
Dude,
here.
what is like every shot was like he's turning it over. There's no snap on it. They were so easy to see. It wasn't and I'm like, bro, no, that's no, bro, that's not gonna work. Especially with the grappling game that you have, the takedown game that you have, the takedown defense that you have, the submission defense that you have. If you have any level of striking that you can add to your repertoire, you got something to work with.
Right.
And it just wasn't there.
Yeah, I think this was a good loss for him because, like I said, some of the other fights he kept doing the same thing. Basically, it's not fighting, you know. So maybe this will teach him that he needs to do that. Now, I'll be interested to see what he can do.
Yeah, and it was also a good loss for him because how many times do you lose and you get 40% of the other person? That ain't bad. So but they got a 27.1 on the fight score for me.
That's not too bad.
Takedowns, did a lot of it. Next fight was the co-main event: Valentina Bullet Shevchenko against Priscilla Cachoeira.
She was catching something, all right.
Yes. Mario Yamasaki never needs to work another fight.
Man, you know what? As an amateur, I'm wondering if I'm in that fighter's position, do I want to be given that chance? You know what I mean? Because she wasn't knocked out. Yeah, so help me understand why he needs to stop that.
When it's that clear that the dominance level is what it was, she outstruck her 230-3. 230.
She was in disadvantaged positions often.
I mean, even I often say this, right? Have you ever you've seen people fight in the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen the fight starts off and both people are like, come on in, come on. And then you see one person throw a shot, boom, 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 boom. And maybe one or two of them land, but the other person feels the wind go by him like, whoa. And it's like, whoa, that boy is strong. And then you see the facial expression change.
Yeah, it's changed.
So it's gone from come on in to this. That happened to Priscilla Cachoeira within the first 15 seconds of the fight.
Then it's her job to tap out.
No, I'm not saying
trying to act tough.
Stop it. I'm not saying that's why he's for. Oh. He should have stopped the fight when Shevchenko had her mounted, and she's literally dropping a series of unanswered shots on this girl's face. She has both of her hands locked up because you got her in the crucifix position. She has both her hands busy, and she hit Priscilla Cachoeira at least 55 times. That sounds like, I'm telling you, that sounds like hyperbole, but it was not. She hit her like 55 times in a row without a defense.
All right.
You can't let nobody get hit 55 times in a row in the face without throwing something back. You just can't.
All right.
Especially once you see that the girl has no chance in hell to win.
She really didn't. I mean, from the first, I think, what did Shevchenko, did she counter her? But the first shot she threw, the girl was like, oh my God.
That's when she got that, oh my God, I can't win this fight face.
She hit her so hard, Mazika, I thought she broke her ankle because she started limping.
She came out, she said, boom. Priscilla said,
Mazika, I knew the girl was in trouble. When she went back to her corner, she was telling the corner man something about her knees. I was like, your knees not the problem, darling.
Check my knee. And the corner man said, don't worry about that. She said, no, you listen. You tell me what not to worry about. That girl out there is crazy. She just hit me in the head with a brick. Like,
oh my God.
I'm like, dude, like it was Dude, Twitter went nuts on Yamasaki for not stopping that fight. Dude, Dana White tweeted, Priscilla Cachoeira, you have great heart and you're tough as nails. But Mario Yamasaki was out there to protect you and he didn't do his job.
Right.
You know, and everybody was saying it was bad, dude. It was bad. I mean, I scored the fight at 30.7 on the fight score. I mean, because the strikes 230? Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of strikes.
Man.
And then you only landed 3.
She only hit her once in the first round.
3 times, bro. She hit her 3 times. How can you only hit somebody 3 times when they're laying on top of you?
No, she got beat like the Cavs.
I think the 3 times she hit her was when she was tapping out on her arm.
Oh, stop. 1, 2, 3.
She said, 1, 2, 3. Give me my strikes. Give me credit for my strikes.
Oh, it's like we better count those.
Hey, we gotta count them because I ain't got many. Man, that was not good. That was not good.
That was not. That was not.
So the main event was Lyoto Machida against Eric Anders. Lyoto Machida pulls out the split decision victory. I agree with the decision. Fight score was only 14.26, so it wasn't definitely. Put it like this: if that was anybody in the octagon outside of Lyoto Machida, we would have booed that fight.
Well said. Very well said.
That's really what the thing was. They didn't do much of nothing. I mean, it was a lot of strategy, a lot of tactical movements in there, and I could see what Machida was doing. Machida was trying to keep the man at bay with the leg kicks, the body kicks, every once in a while trying to jump in, blah blah blah. And he fought a smart fight. He fought a very smart fight. I don't think that Eric Anders fought that smart of a fight. I think he gave Machida too much respect. He was fighting the legend and not the man in front of him. And I think he could have closed distance a little bit more than he did. And he stayed back waiting way too often. And he needed to put pressure on Machida. Machida will be 40 years old in May. He needed to put some pressure on Machida. It was hot in the building. You got to trust your cardio more than a 40-year-old.
Right.
And he should have put pressure on him. And I don't think he didn't do that. And I think that is what led to the loss, split decision loss. I don't know about that Tony Weeks card, 49-46.
Oh, he was guaranteeing that, things was going to go Machida's way.
Right. That was a little weird there one, but I still think the right person won, but the gap there was a little bit, that was a little extra.
Yeah. I thought, your boy, I thought his strategy was, he fought the type of fight that he had to knock Lyoto. Why can't I say this man's name? Lyoto's. I'm mixing the first and the last name together. That he had to knock Lyoto out to win, right? Because he wasn't going to score enough points to win. And I felt like he wasn't as aggressive as he needed to be. And then he would close distance, and I felt like he got too close, right? Yeah. If you're hurting him with shots, don't get in there and start wrestling with him. Yeah. Make him.
Tyron said that in the post fight. Tyron Woodley said he was smothering his shots.
Okay, that's what that means. All right, because I was like, yo, why would you do that when he's getting hurt by he's getting hurt by your shots coming in, and then you get in there and grab him. And I agree with you that he should have been more aggressive. So I thought that if he was able to knock him out, we would have ended up saying, oh, that was a smart way to fight. I anticipated that as each round went, he would get more aggressive, but he didn't. He just stayed. He stayed the same, and he just kept it cocked. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
ready. I got it here. You just wait. No, bro, it didn't work. A lot of times you see a guy fight somebody, and you know that they really respect the guy.
Yes,
and sometimes that's a bad thing, because they respect them so much that they can't actually fight their fight or they can't fight smart enough because they think that, this guy is whatever. So I'm gonna do something a little bit different that I normally haven't been doing. I should have probably been doing, but to be quite honest, hasn't been a lot of people watching live. So, but I'm looking at the chat, and I actually have people here from Brazil. Viva Brazil, Antonio Silomar Rodriguez Araujo. He says, hey, I am from Brazil. And he says, hey, guys, what's going on? I appreciate you. Schmendrick, Sim Nation's in the house.
Smendrick.
High profile. He says, Brian, I'm sorry. I'm short, really short. How did you get interested in fighting? I need a background check here. Smendrick, I have been interested in combat sports since I was like 6. First fight I ever saw, 1981. I believe it was Leonard Hearns. Shortly after that, I saw Hagler Mugabe. And
Ooh.
I remember my father ordered it. Back then, you had one cable channel. And it was in Chicago, you either had Spectrum or you had On TV. You had to pick one. We had
Mm.
Spectrum. And you could order the pay-per-view on there. My father ordered it, and I was, oh my God, I said, this is outstanding. What is really going on here? And I've been there ever since. I've been there ever since, Schmendrick. Let's see. Let's see, what else do we got here? Shout out, he says, shout out from what by some is called Sweden's Chicago, Malmo. Okay. Schmendrick, you're in Sweden? All right. All right. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But I appreciate you coming through for sure. Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. All right, so let's see. Let's jump to the next stage of this. Now, the official awards, they gave out the bonuses, and I was really shocked. Yuri Alcantara got a performance of the night bonus. I
Well,
mean,
I mean, it was exciting. You know what
it
I mean?
it was, but okay, so the other performance of the night bonus went to Valentina Shevchenko for beating the brakes off of Priscilla Cachoeira, which I get that. Totally
Right.
get that. The fight of the night was Thiago Santos against Anthony Smith, which I agree with that. But I think that Thiago Santos also should have got the performance of the night bonus.
Oh, I wouldn't be mad at that. I would
I
not
think he
be
should have.
upset at that.
Yeah, I thought he should have got both. I thought his victory over Anthony Smith was more impressive than Yuri Alcantara's over Joe Soto.
Yes,
I mean,
definitely.
everybody knocks out Joe Soto in the first round, or just about.
As you said when we covered that fight.
Right. So, like, I don't know. I thought that was a little bit more impressive, but it's not my money. All right. So the biggest win of the night. You know what, Zar? Who do you think had the biggest win?
I'm going to go a little unconventional because she had the easiest win of the night, but I'm going to go Shevchenko. She
Okay.
lost out at the title shot at the higher weight. She's dropped down. There were concerns whether she could make this weight, so she made the weight and she beat the brakes off this girl. So I think she goes directly to a title fight as soon as one becomes available. So I think for me, she had the biggest fight tonight. They had questions about her. They didn't want it to be like, oh, we're just giving it to you because, you were pretty good at another weight class. She came down and was dominant, ended all questions. So I think she had the biggest win of the night for me.
I do agree. I do agree. Now, before she came to the UFC, she was fighting in the flyweight division. She was dominant in the flyweight division in another promotion. She only reason she fought in bantamweight is because the UFC didn't have a flyweight division.
Mm.
So she's just dancing now. She's like, I finally get a chance to fight at the weight I'm really supposed to fight at.
Right.
So I do agree though that this was her. I think her win was the biggest because I do think, as you said, it sets up the pretty much what I mean. I think it's a joke to make her wait.
Yes.
You know, Nico Montano probably wants her to wait, but Nico Montano, I'll give her credit. She says, "Bring her home."
What else she gonna say?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think she wants that bullet work. But
Man, I
I
don't know.
mean,
I look forward to scouting Nico. I haven't seen her fight just yet, but from the highlights, I
yes,
didn't get the impression
yeah.
that you know.
I'm going to be honest with you. She takes too many shots.
And
Her striking defense is not up to par to face Shevchenko. Shevchenko's striking is, to be honest with you, I think she could have ended that fight earlier had she not kept taking Priscilla Cachoeira to the ground.
Absolutely. I was shocked why she took her down, but this is MMA. I'm still learning what you fighters are supposed to do. But I'm like, if you have such a high advantage on the hands,
Yeah.
just stick with the hands. You
Well,
know what I mean?
oftentimes you'll see fighters make that mistake. Oftentimes you will.
Mm.
You'll see somebody clearly outclassing someone on the feet. They'll hurt them like she hurt Cachoeira, and immediately shoot for the takedown. Sometimes almost like instinctual, you
Uh,
know. But she could have just kept that fight on the feet, and she would have just picked her to pieces.
yeah, I think he
So
would have stopped it sooner had they been standing and she took some of those shots. About
maybe,
10 standing shots, that would have been it.
yeah, hopefully, but you never know with Mario.
Oh, wow.
No, because see, it would be different because this is not his first time doing this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He has a reputation of this.
All right.
So the biggest loss of the evening, honestly, I think it was probably Eric Anders.
I agree.
He was so hyped up for this fight. He asked for the fight. He called Machida out and at his last fight, and you just lost to a guy who really looked like he was on his last leg. So I don't think anybody's given up on Eric Anders and totally saying he's not going to be a prospect. But I think
No.
after the night, it's clear he's not ready.
No, and I think also after tonight, people are going to look for him to take the next step in preparation, mental preparation. You know what I mean? Just everything I think for people to continue to believe he's got to show, yes, I messed up that Machida fight. I'm ready now. You know what I mean? And if he can do that and come out and be focused, man, I think people will hop back on the train. I think he missed a huge opportunity tonight. Lyoto's ready to go away. You know what I mean? Like, he lost what, 3 in a row? I think he lost his last 3.
Yeah, and I mean, and you coming off a 2-year drug suspension.
Yeah, yeah.
Before he lost the last one in October. So, I mean, because when he lost to Derek Brunson in October, he hadn't fought in over 2 years.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. So he could have took this name, been 11-0. Like he messed some things up for himself. He's got to rebuild. So I definitely agree with you. Your boy messed this one up.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. And it was funny. They keep hearing Paul Felder keep saying, "Yeah, boy." Yeah, boy. I'm like, yeah, your boy lost.
That's better than your boy got knocked out.
Your boy got knocked out. Yeah, your boy didn't get knocked out. Your boy just lost.
You got to change that name. That's.
Oh my God! It's the least creative nickname. Like, you might as well just call yourself Tiger or something.
Something generic.
Right, just something. The Warrior or something. You know,
The Warrior.
the mean guy or something.
Oh gosh.
It's not good. All right, so the least prepared fighter is very easily Priscilla Cachoeira.
Yes. Yes.
She was
needs
not
to not.
prepared for various things.
I
She was not
mean,
prepared for Valentina Shevchenko. She was
the
not prepared
ground,
for referee Mario
the
Yazamazaki.
ropes. She wasn't prepared for the ropes, the cage. But you know what? Before that fight, who was going to be least prepared for me is, even though he won, Timothy Johnson. You know what I mean? Like, you come in there with a belly like that, brother. You're not ready.
Your stomach is not prepared. Yeah.
Like, at least, you know, we didn't pay for this one, but for the people that paid in the arena, you got to at least have it can be big, but it's got to be strong belly. You know what I'm saying? You can't have the wave belly out there, man. That's disrespect.
Honestly, man, that was you've heard what's the guy's name? Is it Patrice Johnson? What's the black guy from Hot Tub Time Machine? That used to
I love that brother. I know who you're talking about.
Craig Anderson.
Craig, no, not Anderson. It's Craig something. It's Craig somebody.
Well, he has this in Hot Tub Time Machine. He tells one of his boys, "Here, you couldn't handle my midriff."
Yeah.
Kim Johnson told Marcelo Gomez, "Now you can't handle my midriff."
Oh gosh! What do you have for the best call? The best.
The best call was Paul Felder yelling out, "Stop the fight!" I mean, seems very basic, but yes, he yelled out, "Stop the fight!" Like, yeah, he shouldn't have had to yell that out, but he
Mm.
yelled out, "Stop the fight," and he needed to because it was just. I'm like, dude, what are you waiting on? This joint is done. Like
Oh
this
gosh.
she go bye bye, bro. It's not working out. So yeah, that was to me the best call. The most interesting statistic also came from that fight. That 230 strikes to 3. That I mean, you're not gonna see such a lopsided, uh, such lopsided punch stats anywhere, man. That was just insane. Shevchenko, I think that Shevchenko's her dominance and her skill level really unfortunately got a little bit overshadowed by how bad a job the referee did, because we
Mm.
really need to appreciate how good she looked there today. She
Yeah.
looked great, you know. So yeah, that's unfortunate that that it came to that way, but
Yeah, she looked strong, fast, accurate. You know what I mean? Just it was beastly. The speed differential between her seeing the shot, hitting the girl with the shot, and then the girl noticing that she got hit with it.
yes.
Just all of that was too much for me. I was like, this is a mismatch of epic proportions.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know how Richard Pryor used to say about Muhammad Ali. He said Muhammad Ali's so fast you don't see his punches till they coming back. So that's what we saw. That's what we saw.
Oh.
You didn't see Valentina Shevchenko's punches till they was coming back, and that's not how you want it to be.
No, sir.
Yes, yes. So that is it. That's what I got. That's what we got for you today for UFC Fight Night 125. Yeah, I had a good time watching that card tonight for sure. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. The Czar is, like I always say, in case you guys don't know, he is not only the resident president of the Sim Nation, he's also a developer for NBA 2K18, and he handles the artificial intelligence aspect for the offense. So a lot of people, you just throw out there, he's a 2K dev, you're like,